Good evening, campers, dreamers, and babysitters. Reclusive author Elly Conway writes best-selling espionage novels about a secret agent named Argylle, who's on a mission to unravel a global spy syndicate. However, when the plot of her books starts to mirror the covert actions of a real-life spy organization, the line between fiction and reality begins to blur. Yes, folks, this is my raw reaction review for Argylle. So yes, folks, Matthew Vaughn is back with another one of these spy thriller action comedy things. He's been really into this kind of genre, I guess, if you want to call them spy films, action comedies. I mean, they can really be classified as a lot of things. IMDb calls them action thrillers. But I mean, this has really just been where he's been at, I guess. I mean, since 2015, when he kicked things off with the brilliant Kingsman: The Secret Service, which I absolutely adored, um, I haven't necessarily loved the rest of the films that he's made in that series. So I was not a fan of The Golden Circle. I was actually in quite a bit of denial when that film came out. I was like, no, that was good. That was better than I thought. I have no desire to rewatch it. And I did not see the latest King's Man, the prequel. And, you know, I think it's just because when you get something so perfect, when you really nail something, and, you know, that next property or that next piece of said property doesn't live up to the hype or the expectations of that first film, it can kind of sully you. And in a world where we have so many movies and so many things to watch, it was kind of tough for me to sit there and say, yeah, I kind of want to continue with the Kingsman universe. But I still love Matthew Vaughn. I still love Kick-Ass. I think X-Men First Class is one of the best X-Men movies. So when he had a new film, which, again, spy thriller, but a new property, I was pretty excited to check it out. So let me start off with some of the positives here. And the biggest positive that I can give this film is that it is a stacked cast, but I really think that they play by some really smart, interesting, and unique dynamics here. Because when you have a cast with someone like a Henry Cavill and a John Cena and a Samuel Jackson, you know, you expect them to kind of be the leads. You know, Sophia Botella is also in this, and she's also grown her status as a star. But no, we actually stick with Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard, who are big stars in their own right. But I mean, with such a stacked cast, it's kind of tough to live up to that. But I really thought they did an excellent job. I really, really loved the chemistry between them, both romantically and action-like. I thought that they were very fun. It plays on this kind of classic spy dynamic where it's kind of like, you know, you have the lady character and the male character, and it's just like that very classic 1950s James Bond-esque kind of dynamic. And, you know, that's in a sense a lot of what Matthew Vaughn is going for with these kind of movies. And I really think that those two knocked it out of the park. They had, again, great chemistry. The choreography between those two when they were fighting and doing things was really, really solid. I enjoyed that quite a bit. And with the other big names on the cast there, I enjoyed them, but to be honest, they're not in the film very much. I think that they're the way that the film kind of presents them, they're almost like background characters in a sense. You'll know what I mean if you go and see the film. But it really, really focuses on, again, Sam Rockwell, Bryce Dallas Howard, and even Bryan Cranston. He gets a lot of screen time in this. And, you know, again, great actors. They did a wonderful job, and they kept the story interesting, and they kept it moving. But I would have really liked to have seen more from some of our supporting cast, especially when the film was kind of billed as having all of them working together more. But I get the concept. I understand what's going on here, so it makes it tough to do that. And with this being Matthew Vaughn, I love the sleekness of this movie. I think that the guy has a real eye for some excellent, more articulate, creative shots in his films, especially when it comes to action sequences. There's definitely a few in here that, they perk you up a little bit in the theater. You're like, wow, this is really exciting. I like this. I will admit there are a couple in here that are a little too CGI'd out where it's just kind of like, okay, I get it. Some of them play a little bit deeper into the humor, which I think kind of adds a little bit of an unbalance because for a lot of this movie, it seemed like they were walking that line between trying to be a little bit more serious than a Kingsman movie, but also then just kind of falling back into those samey Kingsman tropes, which I guess has to bring me to my main negative with this film, and that is that this is really just another Kingsman movie. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that it's a part of the same universe or anything. In style, in tone, in reflection, and everything, it just doesn't feel all that unique. And that's kind of what I was hoping for from Matthew Vaughn. I feel like he has been in this kind of spy thriller, Kingsman like world for so long, and I want to see him step out of this box. I think that for the most part, I don't know if he's ever going to be able to top that first film, at least for me. Now, I went with my wife, and they really, really enjoyed this film. They had a lot of fun with it. They also had some minor gripes about it, but they seemed to like it more than I did. I just could not get it out of my head that this was just a kind of a Kingsman light. And I say that because the other complaint I have is that this movie is PG-13, and I did not know that going into this. So I went in kind of expecting the gritty, bloody action that we're used to seeing on screen. And it very much looks like it's there, but whether they decided at the last minute to kind of pull back on some of those shots, like the Kingsmen, they use a lot of CG blood in those, so it's one of those things where they could easily bloody up this movie. And I was kind of hoping for that. And I'm not gonna lie, it does make some of the action scenes kind of pale in comparison to what we've seen, and it is a little bit disheartening when you're sitting there, kind of like, this is exciting, but it does feel like it's missing something. And lastly, I gotta say, for the kind of narrative and the story that we're going for, I really thought that the opening section of this, probably the first act, and I'll give it the first act and a half, were very interesting. I liked where it was going. It does, again, just kind of devolve into the classic spy thriller action stuff by the end, and it doesn't do anything too unique. And that's something that, again, I was really hoping we'd see kind of a refreshed version of what Matthew Vaughn has given us in the past. And I really just think it's time for him to step off from this, go do something else. I mean, looking at his IMDb in preparation for me sitting down here, he's got two more Kingsman movies in the works. And, there's a post-credit scene here that really just kind of, instead of making me excited, it just made me go, oh, come on, man, what are you doing? But again, I cannot help this feeling that this is really just a point of preference for me. I understand that these films really do resonate with a lot of people, and I cannot lie that I did have fun in the theater. I enjoyed my experience. I just couldn't get as sucked into it as I was hoping for. And at the end of the day, is this something that I will watch again? Probably. If it's on, I might throw it on, or if it's cheap one day, I might pick it up. But I would have to give it the rating of it's worth a watch. So, definitely worth checking out. Maybe not running out this weekend, depending on how on the fence you are with these movies. But if you really like Kingsman, if you really like Matthew Vaughn's stuff over the last few years, this will probably hit for you. And yeah, there are a lot of big name stars in this, that some are in it more than others. But I mean, I really cannot deny that Sam Rockwell and Bryce Dallas Howard carry this film, and they do a wonderful job. They are my favorite part of the entire project, aside from the cat. Alfie is absolutely wonderful. I love his little backpack. They gave one away at our screening. It was really cool to see. And yeah, I adored him. But yeah, it's for me, it's definitely worth a watch, but I don't know if I would go out of my way to check this one out. So yeah, guys, that's everything that I have to say on Argylle. Let me know if you guys are going to be checking this one out this weekend. Other than that, we got a lot of cool stuff up on the channel. We just talked about a really unknown movie called Hundreds of Beavers, which is really wacky, really out there. I had a blast with it, and so did Luke. He actually just checked out a new horror documentary called Dario Argento's Panico, and it's apparently really good, and I got to circle back to it at some point. So check out those reviews and check out some of our other videos on the channel. But yeah, until next time, I'm going to wrap this up here. So I am Dylan Newell, and remember, stay scared.
Do the horror shit, gonna do it live. Cause Splattercast kick it every day they live. Splatter cash, gonna smash your ass.